It's Friday, so you know what that means. Let's welcome tonight's guest. She's so pure, Hunter Biden tried to snort her. Host of Fox News Sunday, Shannon Bream. He's as cheerful as an orphan with tuberculosis. Comedian and founder of Western Razor Company, Kevin Angelo. As a former Miss Citrus, everything she touches is freshly squeezed. Host of the Morgan Ortega Show on Sirius FM, Morgan Ortega. And he can see your house from up there. New York Times bestselling author, comedian, and former NWA World Champion, Tori. Before we get to some news stories, let's do this. Yeah.
Greg's Leftovers.
Open the fridge. Yeah, it's Leftovers, where I read the jokes we didn't use this week. And as always, it's my first time reading them. So if they suck, we'll tie Joe Mackey to the slender trunk of a sapling. And then as it slowly grows to a large, tall tree, he hangs himself.
Wow, that was...
It'll take 80, 90 years, but so worth it. So the Iraqi parliament may lower the legal marriage age for girls to 9 years old. So guess who's now condo hunting in Baghdad? In a resurfaced interview from 2020, Vice President Harris was asked who her favorite rapper was alive, and she said Tupac, who's dead. And when asked who her favorite president was, she said Joe Biden, who's... As for Kamala avoiding questions from the press, she says she wants to get to an interview scheduled before the end of the month. She'd do it sooner, but she needs to learn words. Nancy Pelosi admits they forced President Biden to drop out of the race, not because he was unfit for office, but because he would lose to Trump. So she stabbed Biden in the back, which is weird because she usually bites people in the neck. Olympic swimmers are getting sick from having to swim in the Seine River. You could tell something was wrong because they went in looking like this, and they came out looking like this.
You been on The View, right?
All right. President Biden openly expressed confusion as he greeted the World Series winning Texas Rangers at the White House. Evidently, he kept asking, "Where is Chuck Norris?" In Olympic women's boxing, XY chromosomed boxers Imani Khalif and Lin Yuting advanced to their weight class finals. I think I speak for everyone when I say, may the best man win. In a Comics for Kamala event, Ben Stiller said, quote, "Like every white Jewish guy, I wish I was black." Well, there's always a chance he could become black later in life, said one woman. Joy Reid says Democrat Mark Kelly would have been a better pick for Kamala's VP because he's, quote, super white, like a mayonnaise sandwich on Wonder Bread. That must be why she's copying his hairstyle. The British government is now threatening to arrest Twitter users, and they warned, think before you post. Or what, asked one man. Little historical humor there. Finally, massive amounts of flooding is set to hit New York City this weekend as Hurricane Debbie approaches. And to save stranded New Yorkers, Mayor Adams will implement 5 massive flotation devices. Can't go wrong. All right. So, if you ever want to know what the Dems are up to, just listen to what they accuse you of doing. Take the word weird. It was first uttered by a guy named Tim Walz, directed at another guy called J.D. Vance. But turns out, as usual, it's a preemptive projection. For the Dems always call you on stuff that they're about to do or have already done. They accuse you of election interference before they do it. They accuse you of racism before they do it. They accuse you of censorship right before they try to shut you up. And when they accuse you of being weird, you just know the party of drag queen story hour, fat activists, and feminists supporting Hamas have really something freaky up their sleeves. Now, Walz is weird, but he disguises it under the costume of phony compassion, a fake politician who masks destructive ideas under the guise of empathy. At a 2017 town hall, he implied 10-year-old boys should be able to invade girls' bathrooms because it's all about safety. Quote, "As a teacher, my #1 responsibility in the classroom is the safety, security, and belongingness of every single child in that room. These are children my son's age, a 4th grader, a 10-year-old, who just wants to go to the bathroom. And their identity is they are male or female, and they just go in that bathroom and use it." End quote. Sounds so folksy, you know? Belongingness. Yeah, they'll be belonging in therapy with this guy at the helm. But whose expertise does he rely upon for his Midwestern takes? Here's Minnesota State Rep. Leigh Finke, who wants to train more children's doctors on sex change surgery and puberty blockers. He sponsored the Trans Refuge Bill, which Walz signed, which makes Minnesota a sanctuary state for such butchery.
If you promise trans refuge, then we need to increase the number of people who are offering gender-affirming care. So we have some money, hopefully we can pass, to help entice people to move from those states who also practice gender-affirming care. We want to do internship programs and fellowship programs with Children's Minnesota and other places where people can learn gender-affirming care.
Wow. He's now available for babysitting. And that's the perfect person to give advice for impressionable kids. I don't know. Strangers that want to take in runaways with perfectly good parents who don't want them sterilized, that's weird. I wouldn't send my son to St. Paul. He may come back as St. Paula. There are other weird things about Walz, of course. He fibs about his military service. He set up a snitch line to narc on citizens for not wearing masks outside. And he's super weird on free speech.
I think we need to push back on this. There's no guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech, and especially around our democracy.
There's no guarantee. What? I guess his class didn't cover the First Amendment. But if misinformation isn't free speech, then shouldn't he arrest himself for lying about his service? So here's the deal. My main point, Walz made himself fair game, since his only attack was that the other guy was weird. Because everyone is weird, the more you get to know them. It's why marriage is a commitment. Over time, both spouses realize we're all bat crazy. But there's weird and there's dangerously insane. And that's thinking children can decide to have themselves castrated. And that's Tim Walz. His sin, among many, is that he smeared Vance for being human. His accusation assumes that he's not. And once you make that claim, all bets are off. You think Vance is weird? And you want to operate on healthy kids? If saying crazy cat ladies is weird, what if you want to turn someone's son into one? So congrats, Walz, you're a weirdo. But so are we. But so are we. But at least we don't lie about it, unlike you. But maybe that's because you're way weirder than we can even imagine. All right. Shannon, it's common knowledge around the building that you're a very weird person. I mean, no, I'm serious. She's a freak. But didn't Walz make a mistake by breaking the weird seal? Like, there's no non-weird person. So it's like, once he said that, it's like, okay, we're coming after you.
Well, and the word you use, folksy. So this is a lot of the headlines we're seeing. He's lovable. He's like your dad next door, your grandpa, your coach. I mean, so he's supposed to be the normie, we're told. Those are the words the kids use now.
Yes.
As you know. But when you talk about things like free speech, and because 9 of the weirdos I like to hang out with most are at the Supreme Court. And they have decided 8-1 in some really controversial cases that the most hateful, weird stuff that you would say is protected by the First Amendment, because it's not rainbows and puppies and all that we have to protect. It's the most hateful stuff, but the court recognizes the Constitution protects your ability to say these things out loud, and then people can judge you based on that. But here's the deal. We got to get past all of the love fest at some point. That's any new candidate gets that. But you have to get to where he is on his policy positions. You outlined some of them. Now, some people may love that, but they need to know what they are so they can decide how to vote.
Exactly. Now, you did cover the Supreme Court, and they are all perverts.
I didn't say perverts.
No, I mean, come on, they wear
weirdos,
robes.
like,
We know they're not wearing anything underneath the robes.
I can neither confirm nor deny that.
No, I think I think that we've got an exclusive.
I'll get back to you on that. How about that?
Yes, you know, Angelo, good to see you as always. I assume that you have a closet full of skeletons, and I mean literally, not like metaphorically. You have the bodies of dead people in your little house, probably underneath the floorboards.
That's wrong, Greg. I moved out of that apartment a few weeks ago. But I will say, slanderous accusation. I'm in a 2-bedroom now. You know, as a comedian and the owner of the largest American-made razor company, and available at westernrazor.com, you know, I have a different relationship with the word weird. You know, it comes at me often.
Yes.
But it is interesting to see the pivot in the messaging, because, you know, Democrats, liberals in general, it used to be, it's okay to be weird.
Right.
It's, hey, everyone's different. It's kind of like they did this with body shaming.
Yeah.
It was like, don't do body shaming, don't do body shaming. And then as soon as Trump got into office, they were like, look at his orange face.
Yeah.
Look at this. Look at Jeff Sessions. He's a Keebler elf.
Yeah.
They get off it. They got to stick to their message.
Yeah, it's true, because the message only works when they can point it at somebody else.
And we got to remember what the message is. westernrazor.com for American-made razors. So important. So important.
Yeah, I guess the transitioning of girls to boys helps your company because you get more shavers.
We have razors for everybody.
Yes.
You know, everybody.
Everybody. Morgan, don't you find it interesting? It's like you can predict what the Dems are doing by what they accuse you of. It's always that way.
Well, it's also like obfuscating from what we should really be talking about this election, which is actually the price of goods for people to go to the grocery store, the price of gasoline, whether you're safe in your community or whether we're safe around the world. We just took 2 aircraft carriers out of the Pacific region, put them in CENTCOM because, our U.S. Navy ships are getting shot at, troops are getting killed in Jordan from the Iranians. Like, we are in war in almost every theater in this country, but instead, it's actually really smart what the Democrats have done. They're not talking about war around the world. They're talking about who's weird and who's not weird. I happen to think what's really weird is getting married on Tiananmen Square with the excuse that you want to remember your anniversary, because you always want to remember the anniversary of your wedding through a massacre.
Yes. You know, it's ironic that he got married in China and goes there a lot, and he's not really a great Walz.
Well, you know, I didn't know that.
I love that they applauded that.
I didn't know Tim Walz got married in Tiananmen Square.
Well,
Yeah.
He got married on the anniversary because he wanted to.
Oh, on the anniversary. Yeah,
Remember
I went
his
to
wedding
Tiananmen
anniversary.
Square.
Really?
Well, the tour guide, do you want to see Tiananmen Square? And I said, no, thanks. And, you know, I just thought it was that, you know, I don't.
Tyrus?
No, hold on. This is your fault. You need to write a letter To the millions and millions of people watching at home, they're like, what were they clapping? Your fault. All of it's your fault.
The great, not so great.
Not so great.
You're weird, Tyrus. You're a weirdo.
No. You know what? We're all weird.
Yeah.
You look weird. It's you. Okay.
Yeah.
You flip the dictionary. It's Greg like, hi. So he's not weird at all. He's a creep.
Yeah.
There's a difference between being weird and creepy. And you can be weird all day long. Everyone wants to say, hey, it even sounds good. Hey, let's get weird this weekend. So, hey, let's get creepy this weekend.
Yeah.
You don't get the same, oh, no cheer? Puppets. Pure puppets. But, yeah, what bothers me the most is the stuff that we're, like the fake valor is bad enough, but when you have fake butter churning, sculpting valor, where do you go from there?
Yeah.
Turns out he never did that.
He did?
He was just buy it in like an Iowa thing. So I got people from the Midwest, because I've actually been there.
Yeah.
I went to school there, and I got people going, this dude ain't legit butter. He's not legit butter.
So he's not
just
really
at
a butter
fair.
carver?
No,
Wait,
there's no
Tyrus,
evidence.
I cannot believe it's not butter.
No, it's not. You know?
Is that your joke?
Every one of you that asked for a picture after the show.
Oh, we got to move on. That was fun, though. I have to say.
Yes, it was.
Weird.
Regular,
is
sharp
good.
as a razor over there, bro. Just sharp as a razor.
Wouldn't it be great if he really didn't sell razors at all? It was all. He just sells hats that say that.
Yeah.
Up next, Nancy finally explains why she took Joe's reins.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.